to talk about Civil War events at the Courthouse Square on October the 1st, the 200th anniversary of the establishment of St. Genevieve. So whichever one of you wants to talk first can start talking.
Jim, go ahead.
One thing I'll start with is for the bicentennial celebration, the Art Guild has pulled together an art exhibit that's at the Guild Gallery, which is in the Barnwood and Bedpost at 301 Merchant Street. And we have art which we've arranged chronologically. I haven't seen the exhibit yet, but I'm told.
I got a preview today, and it looks very good.
Oh, good, good. I'm looking forward to seeing it. I'll see it Friday. But we have, Art Guild members have produced art to kind of commemorate this bicentennial celebration. And I believe that's what the event that you're going to be talking about, too.
And that's at the old Rozier building, in case somebody didn't recognize that address there.
That exhibit will open Friday. That Friday is also our monthly art walk. There will be several art galleries open. And just stop into any of the galleries, look for these banners. At the Hayloft Gallery, Jerry Walters will be exhibiting. Here's an example of his work. Betty Garrity is going to be at Merchant Street Gallery. There's a lot of very interesting art things going on this Friday. If anybody stops in at any of the galleries, there'll be a map there that'll guide you to the rest. So if you can make it to one of the galleries in town, you'll find the rest. And if you purchase one of these triptychs, visit 6 of the galleries, get it stamped, you can take a chance to win a piece of art similar to that. There'll also be art at a lot of the other locations.
Right, and they're only $5, right?
Only $5, and the art is be valued at $100 or more. The Hayloft Gallery is going to have a piece of art worth $200, so if somebody chooses it. Now, also Friday though, that's the first day of our plein air painting competition, and now we'll be painting for several days, and then there will be an exhibit afterwards. There's prizes. I encourage all artists to participate. It's a lot of fun. I won a prize last year, so I know it's not rigged. I really do think that there's a lot of art stuff going on. And then next month, we're going to have the annual Promenade des Arts. And this year, once again, we are celebrating the Art Colony. This time, it's the 80th anniversary of the founding of the Art Colony.
You want to hold that up? So.
Yeah.
If you want to zoom in on that poster, Don, Jim has there. You want to hold it up, Jim?
Right. And we will be featuring art from the 3 founders, Bernard Peters, Jesse Rickley, Amy Schweig, and this will be at the site that was their studio, which is the Shaw Building, so the Shaw House. So this will be wonderful. This will be the weekend of October 12 through 14. Mm-hmm. So we have brought out several works of art, some that haven't been seen in public for many, many years. So this is a very good opportunity to look at some treasures that we have here in our community.
And Martille, who did the post office mural, is a daughter of Amy. And she's 90-something years old, and she's going to have a one-man show in Schaumburg coming up pretty soon, like in October.
Good.
Yeah, she goes strong yet. Yeah.
She's an interesting lady.
She is.
She married a man named Langsdorff, who was on the atomic energy studies, and she designed the doomsday clock.
Right.
Oh,
and he
I had
did
not
the
heard that. That's wonderful,
too, didn't he?
Yep.
And he said he wished he wouldn't have done it.
Right.
Now, with so many different art things going on, we've listed them all on the Art Guild's website, which is www.artstgen.org. So that'd be artstegen.org. So all of the details of this can be found at that website.
Right. And I know a lot of you people out there know Anna Kirchner, and she's going to be at Gallery St. John, so that'll be a good stop too. She's got all new art she did this past year.
All right, Bob?
Well, actually, as part of some of the things that we've got going on during the next week, we started out thinking about the 200th anniversary of the county, and one of the things we wanted to celebrate also is the art of the county. So the Art Guild came up with a special contest open only to St. Genevieve County residents. You have to be 16 years old, and it's to do a painting of the courthouse, which is really the symbol of our county. It can be in any media, watercolor, oil, pastels, charcoal, except they threw out photographs, which is what I do. So,
darn it.
Yeah.
That's what I thought too.
Pencil sketching?
Yeah.
Can you do pencil sketching of it?
I guess
I would assume you could. It's very similar to charcoal.
Says everything except photographs.
It can be no smaller than 9 by 12 inches and no larger than 48 by 48 or 4 by 4 feet.
Were the schools contacted, Bob, or do you know?
I don't think so on that, because
There's
you have to
a
be
lot.
16 and older.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a lot of good artists up there at those schools. You know.
Unfortunately, they have to, there's no entry fee, but they have to register by 4 PM tomorrow
Right.
and have the painting in by 4 PM on Friday.
Right.
And it's going to be judged on Monday morning, October 1st, by the county commissioners. They've turned into art judges. And the $100 prize, which was donated by an anonymous donor, is going to be awarded during our 200th anniversary ceremony. So you still got a day to get out there and do a quick paint. Some of the plein air
Right.
contests have always been quick paints. Get out there, do it in an hour, do it in 2 hours.
Got a whole day
And,
night.
yep, there's a whole day and night, and I remember a couple of years ago, you were doing plein air on the courthouse
Oh,
square.
yeah, without lights.
And without
That was bad.
Yeah, but there was some really good art
There
done
were.
that.
But some of them were smart enough to put the headlamps on
Yeah,
there.
I bought one of those for this year.
Did you?
Yep.
But I wanted
I
to,
was trying to
ridiculous,
paint in the dark, mine was a mess.
but I'll just add a little bit about the art colony. That was really a marvelous group, and their work is all over the middle of the United States and even in Washington D.C. When you talk about the post office murals, that most people call that a WPA project.
Right.
It really wasn't. It was a little bit later, but guys like Joe Jones and Joe Verst and Amy or Martill actually painted
Martill, yeah.
one in Washington D.C. They're up in South Dakota.
In
Matt
Kansas
Ziegler,
City, isn't it?
yeah,
Yeah.
and down at some of them had a little controversy. I think one down in Arkansas had some
And
controversy.
Branson has, at the College of the Ozarks, they have a lot of paintings down there. And that place is so interesting. It's like the little Smithsonian. They have everything in there. So if anybody goes to Branson, go to the College of the Ozarks. It's a cool college, and that museum they have is just out of this world. Guns, dolls, dishes, furniture. They even have our oak tree from up there in the cemetery,
Well,
cut.
a piece of
all
it, the
engraved.
biggest.
Well, they have a couple pieces, yeah.
Yeah.
Very interesting place to go.
One day we were in the cemetery, Mickey Ketting and I, and we were doing something, and this family, three-generational family walks in, and I overheard this elderly gentleman say to his grandson, "I once painted here back in the 30s." And we started talking to him, and he was a 16-year-old boy that had come down from St. Louis and painted one summer.
Oh, my word.
And his grandson, he had a bunch of photographs, Kodak photographs, and he sent us some, and there's Thomas Hart Benton, Amy Zweig,
On the
Joe Verst
pictures?
on the pictures. It's,
Well, you know why?
Oh, my
We'd like to
gosh.
have those for the.
Yes.
yeah, well,
Yeah.
this gentleman came down a few years ago when we had the Thomas Hart Benton
Oh,
exhibit.
Oh, did
so that'd
he?
be
Oh, okay.
Millard, what was it, Christman?
Yeah,
Is that his name?
yeah,
I
what
met
a
him.
delightful
Oh, he was
individual.
very delightful.
Yeah.
I'd like to get him back down here again. He just started painting again. I spent the whole afternoon with him, and he got all energized about art. He's retired now, and he has been emailing us occasionally paintings that he's done.
Oh, really?
He's doing a series of portraits of his family right now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
I'll give you those scans, because I thought it was marvelous to have those of Thomas Hart Benton.
I would love to see those.
Yeah.
You know, the art colony, that decade in the 1930s, it's still a remarkable period. And we hear about this all the time. This is one of the things that brought me to St. Genevieve, was investigating the art colony, and then I started running into contemporary artists down here, and I realized I had found my home. But as we put these shows together, this makes the third year in a row that I've worked on something, display in the Shaw House. But in doing research for it this year, I have contacted some scholars elsewhere. I talked to the curator of art, Mary Pixley, out at the Museum of Art and Archaeology out on the campus of Mizzou. She did a wonderful art colony exhibit last year. It was
Was
fantastic.
that the Joe Jones one, or was it more general?
It was more general. It was art colony artists plus, and she extrapolated out a little bit, and she had artists that were responsible for some artists coming to St. Genevieve, things like that. It was wonderful, wonderfully studied, wonderfully presented, and And she might be doing something for us this one too. We're in communication. I don't know if it's going to be this year. We're also going to celebrate the School of Art, the summer School of Art that the Art Colony had going, and she might participate in that. Also, Mercantile Library up on the campus at the University of Missouri in St. Louis. They've got an art exhibit there that has several of the artists that participated in St. Genevieve, and they are marking them during our 80th anniversary celebration. So it's a concurrent exhibit. We will have information about it. They will have information about our exhibit. So just like in the 30s, artists were going back and forth between St. Genevieve and St. Louis, it's still happening today.
There is some beautiful art at Mercantile Library.
Yes, it's wonderful.
Even
I was up there a
beyond,
couple
yes,
months ago,
yeah.
and I can't wait to get back.
Yeah, I've never been there.
Well, I'm going to talk a little bit about
Oh, sure,
Civil
go
War.
right
No,
ahead.
I'll just
Sorry to-
move into that. I'm going
we
to
just
switch.
kind of
Yeah,
pushed it-
the
pushed
first
it
thing
out
was
there.
trying to get that county art thing going, because we would like to have paintings of our courthouse. I think the painting will hang in the courthouse,
That's what it
the
said.
winning one. And our courthouse, this is really our second one. It was built about 1880. The other one was kind of dilapidated. And those two little side buildings, the one where the chamber is was called the Fireproof Clerks Building, and that and the jail were built in 1875.
Oh,
Then
really?
later in 1880, we built the main courthouse. It was added on about 1914, 1915, and then in the 1980s there was another addition.
I remember that one, yeah.
I remember as a young man, my grandfather was the sheriff here, and I was really little, and I'd come over and sit on the sheriff's lap in the courthouse. But on Saturday, we're going to do a little celebration of a Civil War event that occurred here in St. Genevieve County. I don't know if people know it, but more battles were fought during the Civil War in Missouri than any other state.
Oh, really?
Not all of them were huge like Gettysburg or Shiloh, but there were more battles. Now, we didn't have any battles here, but we did have, there was a lot of bone of contention here. We had a lot of Southern sympathizers, and we had a lot of Union sympathizers. So it wasn't as bad as down, say, in Jasper County, down in southwest Missouri, but there was a lot of contention. What we're going to reenact, and it's the St. Genevieve Sons of Union Veterans of the Civil War in the state of Missouri. J. Felix St. James Camp 326 is going to put on a reenactment of the formation of the 78th Enrolled Missouri Militia. Not everybody went off and joined an infantry, an artillery group, or a cavalry group that went all over the country. A lot of them, in 1862, they started forming these Enrolled Missouri Militia, and they're kind of like a home guard. And many people here in St. Genevieve had to sign up for that. And if you didn't, you had to pay a fine, and you were kind of declared a secessionist.
Oh, my.
And so we're going to celebrate that. There's a few other things that we're going to do. Augustus St. James was named the Provost Marshal. The newspaper was shut down, the Plain Dealer, because it was too Southern in its sympathies. And so there'll be a little freedom
So
of
that
the...
preceded Fair Play and the Herald then?
Yes, the Fair Play started in 1872, the Herald in 1882. I think the Herald's like the third oldest running newspaper in Missouri now. But last year, we did a reenactment of the federal troops taking all the money out of our bank.
Right.
I think you remember that when the bank was down by the Show Me Shop across the street. Well, this year we're going to also reenact the federal troops coming in and taking over the courthouse for the duration of the war.
Oh.
Because they barracks their troops in there. They did damage, and after the war was over, the county court filed suit to get money for rent and damages, and it took until after 1900 to get
Oh, my word.
their money. So I guess the wheels of Congress moved slow back then too sometimes.
What time is this enactment going to
Well,
be?
actually, we're going to have a small Civil War camp set up on the courthouse green, starting at 10 o'clock. We've identified, I think, 500 to 800 people in the
wow.
county that served at one time or another. So we've got these lists, and we have a bunch of Confederate troops too, so we haven't ignored them, even though we're a union organization. And so you can come and kind of find out maybe your ancestor was in the Civil War. And so, and it's a chance for kids to come by, see what a Civil War camp was like. We'll have guys in uniform, so you can see how they dress, that sort of thing. And we have some toy rifles, and we'll teach them how to march.
Has that been passed on to the schools?
Yes, it has.
Good.
And but then at 2 o'clock, we're going to do that reenactment. We're going to close off 3rd Street, and so bring a lawn chair down. As in the past, we kind of invite a little audience participation in our reenactments. If you're a Southern sympathizer, you can shout out a few things. Now, you might get arrested and thrown in the clinker, but it'll be fun, and that'll probably last from 2 to about quarter to 3. But the little camp will be open until 4 o'clock, and it's a great chance for not only kids, but the bigger kids like us to get out and find out what went on in the county during the Civil War. And we were also a shipping off point for a lot of troops that came from like Fort Davidson, and they were going down to Vicksburg, and
Down the Mississippi.
and they were down the Mississippi. We have a young boy, Jacob Zimmer, who was a drummer. He was like 13 or 14 years old, and he got sick before he got on the boat. And he actually died here, and he's buried in the cemetery. It's a very unusual entry into the church records. Jacob Zimmer, a drummer of the 13th Infantry, died on a certain date, because you don't normally see that stuff in the entries. So it'll be a good day to learn about our Civil War history. And we've got some really good people here that are very knowledgeable about the Civil War. If you want to know about coins and stamps and money during the Civil War, Tom Greminger is very good at that. Paul Cameron does a Civil War journalist and sketch artist.
Right.
We didn't have, cameras were just starting to come into play, and he kind of...
He's a member of the Art Guild.
Right,
Yeah.
and he paints Civil War stuff and sketches it. So kind of, sometimes you do it on canvas, sometimes you do it in real life. So that's on Saturday, and then on Monday we're going to celebrate the 200th anniversary of the establishment of St. Genevieve County. Now, before the Louisiana Purchase, there were, under the Spanish and French rule, there were a number of districts, and there was one in St. Charles, St. Louis, Cape Girardeau, New Madrid, and St. Genevieve, and New Bourbon had its own district. De La Souce came into town, and he convinced the governor down in New Orleans to give him his own district, so he had that just south of town. And that kind of continued, but when the Americans came in 1804, they just went to, and we were the territory of Louisiana, they established 5 districts: St. Charles, St. Louis, St. Genevieve, Cape Girardeau, and New Madrid. And New Madrid went all the way down into Arkansas. It was the biggest of all of them. Well, in 1812, we switched from being the territory of Louisiana to the territory of Missouri. And on October 1st, 1812, the governor of the territory said, we now have 5 counties: St. Louis, St. Charles, Cape Girardeau, New Madrid, and St. Genevieve. So we're celebrating that event. We think that's a thing that we should do. It's not many counties. There's only 5 in Missouri that can claim to be that old. And so it's going to start off with that judging of the art of the courthouse from 9 to 10. And then at 10, we're going to have an official ceremony. It's going to start off with an honor guard bringing the flag in. Lynn Rose Terry's going to sing the Star Spangled Banner, which is always kind of moving. And we'll give a brief history of the county, introduce special guests, past commissioners, presiding commissioners, elected officials, employees of the county.
And that's on Monday?
That's on Monday, beginning at 10 o'clock. It's again right in front of the courthouse. We're going to block off the street. We'll have some chairs for people to sit in out in the crowd, and it'll be right on the courthouse steps. Then we're going to have Gary Nelson speak, Dick Greminger, Joe Follard, our congressman, Kevin Engler, our state senator, and Russ Carnahan's coming to to talk, and they'll be given proclamations and things of that sort. Then we're going to do an honor to all the citizens that have fought in the armed services over the life of the county. And when you think back of the war, we're just becoming a county. We're fighting the War of 1812, the Mexican American War, the Spanish American War, the Civil War, and World War I, World War II, Korea. We've had many of our citizens be in the service, not only during wartime, but in peacetime, and many of them have never come home, and so we want to do a tribute to them. We're also going to plant a memorial tree, or dedicate it. When I started researching the courthouse, at one time we had sycamores all the way around.
Oh, really?
And a metal fence, and then they put maple trees in, and one by one, we've lost all the maple trees but one, which is right there between the chamber office and the courthouse. And that's always very pretty in the fall.
Right.
And, so we're going to plant another maple tree, a red maple, and we're also going to place a time capsule. And if you have any ideas of things to put in the time capsule that we could open up 50 or 100 years from now, see Tish Johnson down at the County Services Building. She's putting that together, and we'll be stuffing it, and we're going to bury it on Monday.
How big is the capsule?
I think it's about like this. It's a
really?
polyethylene pipe, so we'll be putting some things in there, and they'll probably wonder 50 or 100 years from now, what is this round thing?
Yeah. What's this all about?
Yeah.
There was a penny in one somewhere, wasn't there, when they dug it up? A penny?
Oh, there could have been.
think
I know that we
Not
had.
too long ago they dug
They
it. Not
planted,
here. It was
well, they
in
planted
town.
one out at the community center, and they planted one in 1985 by the museum.
Oh, really?
But you got to remember where they're at.
Yeah. Make a note.
Yeah. Then we're gonna we'll announce the painting competition winner. After the ceremony, we're going to have an open house in the courthouse and also in the ambulance department, the sheriff's department, and county health. So you can go around. Some of them have got some of their really old documents out that you can take a look at and see some of those early books. We're going to have some cake and refreshments afterwards also. And
Monday's a really busy day.
it's going to be busy. And then at 2 p.m., I'm going to do a slideshow on the history of the county up in the courtroom.
Oh, are you?
Yeah,
Oh,
so
man.
still got a lot of work to get that one done.
Yeah.
But
I
I
bet.
found some neat old pictures of St. Mary and
St. Mary's used to be a really big town. wasn't it? I didn't know
over
that
500
until-
people.
Yeah, until Mrs. Talapi gave one of her nieces, a nephew. I
Found some great
A
pictures
picture.
of Lawrencetown, which
Goodness.
used to be called Punjab.
Punjab.
Punjab, like the Indian name
Oh, my
from India. So
God. Yeah, and is it, let's see, what's that place over, not Pollock, no, never mind, I can't think of it. Anyway, over in the Lead Belt, towards Farmington. They used to come back and forth here a lot.
the Valley Forge and the Plank Road.
That's what they used, yeah, but I
Yeah.
can't remember the name of the town. It'll come to me one of these days.
Well, there's a Delasue over there. And, but, well,
It's the one where the French Cajuns were, where the Cajuns lived.
French Village.
No, further over than that.
Mhm.
Okay, I'll think of it. One of these days.
But it should be fun, and we're always learning new things. I mean, I find when I'm doing research on even like the town or any of these.
You're wonderful at doing research. That's great. I hope I
Well,
could do that. You have
Every once in a while, you find some really quirky, funny things that happen too. So we'll try to talk about a few of those.
But that's at 2 o'clock now for.
That's going to, the little presentation will be at 2 o'clock in the
In the
courtroom.
courtroom.
And if it rains on Monday, seems like we haven't had any rain all summer.
And
now.
here it comes.
Yeah, here it comes. But,
Now we're in a train. Is that-
yeah,
that's so long
if we
fast.
have rain on Saturday, or on Monday, we'll do it up in the courtroom.
Oh, okay.
So
And then that'll end the celebration?
that'll end the celebration. I think the open house is open, the various departments are open until 3 o'clock,
So actually it runs from 10 to 2 then,
10 to 3,
10 to 3.
yeah.
Oh, that's
Oh,
great.
after your slideshow.
Yep.
That'd be nice.
We're gonna show like our oldest tax record in Phyllis Vels's department's like 1859.
Oh, my
We
My
were-
gosh, you haven't been?
Yeah, we've got some old stuff. The clerk's department, we were pulling out records of slaves and the freeing of slaves today.
That would
And
be interesting.
coroner's records from 100 years ago. That's a
Oh, my.
terrible book to research. I've been through that looking for someone, and it's not fun. But we've got some,
And they probably died from really
lots of different
different
things.
things,
Yeah.
yeah. Things
They
that were
died
not
at
even
earlier
necessary.
ages then. I mean, they were younger back then.
Not necessarily. We had
Not
someone,
really?
we had one of our early residents live to be 110.
Wow.
Oh, really?
He lived down on the north end of town.
And who was that?
His name was Michel, I'm trying to think, Mine Le Breton, over near Potosi was named after him. And Breton was where he was from in France originally, or his ancestors, but
Oh,
Mine,
yeah,
mine,
La Breton, Breton, B-R-E-T-O-N. So,
Well, I'll be darned.
and we had slaves that lived to be very old. I think that's what's marvelous about St. Genevieve. Our records go back to the 1760s, and
oh, isn't that great?
out at the library they have put them on microfilm, so you can. There's an index. They're a little hard to research, but you can find ancestor signatures in there, lawsuits, things like estate inventories. Find out what someone might, when they died, what they had. And it's a great insight into what life was like
It's life, yeah.
back then. So, and our church records go back to 1759. And
Do they? I was
Yeah.
wondering how old they
Yeah.
were. Now, there's some older than that, though, that were.
we're probably in
Kaskaskia.
Kaskaskia, yes. I haven't been over. That's the next time.
That's the next thing, yeah.
That'd be the next one. That is really interesting. I mean, that should be really a good weekend. This weekend should
Well,
really
you
be
got
good.
art, you got history.
Yeah.
What more could you ask for? Like I'll play like I'm Mary Ann.
Yeah.
If you live in St. Genevieve and complain about what to do, there's something wrong with you, because there's always something going on.
There is.
That's what Mary Ann always says.
There's always something.
There's
going on.
Mary Ann for the night.
There is, really is. And it's amazing how much art and how much talent there is in this town. Like you have your talent of researching. There's so much. St. Genevieve is just loaded with talent.
Oh, well, our musicians are phenomenal.
Oh,
I
that
know.
show
Yeah.
that Lynn and them had up, that
Yeah.
reunion show, that was wonderful. Yeah.
And that goes way back. I mean.
Oh, yeah, they
You know,
played in
the
those.
French love to sing and dance and play music, and
And they had the
Lagione.
Lagione. I can't speak French, so
don't worry about
however you say that, that's
You know,
still
they
going
argue
on.
about how to say that.
Do
It
they?
can be Lagione, Lagione, Goni. I mean, I've heard all different things. And,
I like Goni.
yeah, back in the 1880s, there was two newspapers, the Fair Play and the Herald, and they kind of went at each other. And
All
they
the
had
time.
they had a running battle on how to sing it, what the words meant, and what its name was.
Was that Mr. Ernst? And
Mr. Ernst, yeah. Oh, yeah.
And that book that I found, that Ms. Bosler, she has it in the French, and then it's also in the American.
Hmm.
So, I
Now,
said,
what book is that, Mary?
I found a book in some of my dad's things that was written by Sue Bosler.
Oh, did
And
you
it's-
really? And she
it's
had
all
it in French
leaflet.
and English both?
No, she had the music, the words to the
okay,
Lagoni
in French,
and
okay.
she had it in English.
Oh, okay.
And I was really amazed. I found a lot of things. I sat there, I told him, I sat there and read the thing. I picked it up at 6 o'clock and I let it down at 9:30 in the morning. That was yesterday morning.
Well,
I
that's
didn't know my
that's
dad
okay.
had this book.
Well, we got so many
We have a
interesting.
call.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Good evening, welcome to What's New. Do you have a question? Hello? Guess they chickened out.
Yeah,
Maybe that's
yeah,
Mary
Nora
Ann
was a
supposed to
fax.
call. She probably got cut off. That was Mary Ann probably. She's supposed to call.
But, you know, we have so many interesting characters that have lived in St. Genevieve over the years. And artists, singers, just sheriffs.
Yeah,
They're-
some of
they're
the
just
sheriff's
fun.
really cool
Lawyers.
stuff.
Well, I went out to the library to look for something. I was researching, can't even remember, I was researching Nip's family. And I found in there they had a duel on Market Street.
Yes. Some people claim that was more a street fight.
Really?
But it was a guy named Augusta DeMunn and John MacArthur. And MacArthur's house is the Ratty Hoffman house where all the old cars were
Oh.
that's being restored. He and Augusta DeMunn were both running for office, and DeMunn accused MacArthur of counterfeiting and doing something else during this election. Not that they would, I'm glad we don't have that now, but.
History repeats.
And so they kind of got into an argument, and it ended up right out, I guess they were holding court in the old brick at the time, but pistols were drawn. Lewis Lynn, this Dr. Lynn, who became a U.S. Senator, was with MacArthur, and DeMunn got shot, staggered into the old brick, and died, supposedly. But we really did have another duel, too. I think a little bit earlier, about 1813, we had a Dr. Fenwick here, and he had been brought into St. Genevieve in 1797 to treat smallpox. Well, his brother was a kind of a ne'er-do-well, and he had been accused of something and convicted in court, and he called the judge out. It was a guy named Crittenden, and Crittenden said, "I'm not going to duel you, you're not a gentleman, you're a common thief." And Fenwick took up the duel and ended up getting shot and killed. So we lost our doctor.
Oh,
Tell me
my
don't.
word.
Well, I was just amazed, going back there, and if I'm, correct me, did I not see a picture someplace that they had a hanging here?
Yeah, I think the last public.
The last one?
It happened out at, what is it? The old, it was called the Poor Farm.
It was, yeah, down.
Down
Right.
on,
Yeah.
It's where Stan plays at now.
right.
Yeah.
It was on Little Rock Road.
Our mayor owns it.
Yeah. And that was, that happened right after the bicentennial. Hurt Hardy and killed who he wanted to be his girlfriend, a gal named Ethel Fannenstock. And
That's what I read, and then they hung him. And that was the last hanging, I think.
Public
was-
hanging
Yeah,
in
that was the
Missouri.
last public. Because I remember seeing the picture in that book, and I thought, oh my gosh.
They had a picture of the hanging in the book?
Yeah, they had a picture of
I've not seen it.
Of the guy hanging or just the,
they had a
Man.
picture of the people, and then they had the scaffold. And I can't remember if it was, I saw it, it's gotta be in one of those books that I found of Dad's. It's in one of those. I tell you, when I go to looking at things, I don't know what I'm looking at half the time, but it's interesting. I'm finding a lot of stuff out. The more you investigate, the more you find.
okay. We'll continue talking in a minute, but before we go too far, on October the 10th, we're going to have our city administrator on, Martin Toma. And we have boxes all over town. Well, not all over town. We have them at the Herald and at the City Hall here. And you can also mail your question to the City Hall, or you can call us, live. And with any concerns you have about the city, he'll be happy to answer them. He'd like to have the questions beforehand so he can kind of have answers for you. And it doesn't matter what you want to know about the city, just call us and ask or leave us a note. And you can remain anonymous. You don't have to sign anything if you don't want to. And it could be anything. If you have something good to say, fine. If you have something really bad to say, that's fine too. He doesn't mind. He wants to hear and make our city better, which is a good thing. So if everybody out there, if anybody's listening tonight, hopefully, you will call in or put some questions at the Herald or up here at the City Hall, or mail it to us. And just put attention, what's new on your letter if you happen to mail it. So with that said, we can start talking again. Got that? Okay.
Jim?
So Jim, you got something else you
Well,
want?
the art
talk
colony,
about?
what kinds
We could-
of, did they do oils primarily, or did they?
We
wood?
have, in the exhibit that we're going to have, we have oil paintings and prints represented. And in fact, if we pull this off, we have one of the wood blocks, I believe this is a wood block, but it's a small carving, you know, how the printing process, which looks similar to this when they're completed, but we have the block that Jesse Rickley worked on. So I believe it belongs to the Felix Valley House, but we're gonna put that on display. We have a glass case. We're gonna make sure that people don't touch it or walk off with it. But if we get that up, that'll be worth seeing. You don't see those all the time, but a lot of artists will destroy them. Jerry Walters, I took a printmaking class with Jerry Walters, and he instructed us to destroy them when we're through. And that way people can't come along, because you put a number on it, how many we make. Now, if it's open, an open edition, you might not limit it like that.
I kept mine because I didn't want to get rid of them because I worked too hard on them.
I kept mine too. Sorry, Jerry.
How many prints can you do off of a wood block?
Well, you know, you
As long
probably,
as you clean it well, you
yeah.
could probably use it forever.
Yeah, yeah.
Because
yeah.
you just ink it and then you have to sit there and rubby.
I have something called a lino cut, which I guess was made with a linoleum rather than.
Oh, then you
Yeah.
run those through a press. Isn't that right? The
What?
lino?
I didn't hear you.
You run them through a press?
Yes,
the lino
I was
cut.
gonna say, the ones you run through a press, they might have a shorter life because of the pressure. You can eventually squeeze out your art. The crevices that take the ink will keep getting shallower and shallower. With this process, you hand rub. You know, you spread your ink, then you lay your paper down, and you're hand rubbing. Or,
With the
maybe
spoon or your
maybe
hand
with a
or
wood spoon or
whatever.
something. So you're not applying so much pressure. So you could probably get thousands of prints. But the problem is, you start signing them and numbering them, and you want to make sure that you don't get counterfeits later. So that is why. Now, sometimes what artists will do, they will alter them in some way so that you'll never get the exact print off of it again because it doesn't look the same. After they say if they're going to make 25, then they will alter it. So the Colony, they worked in several mediums, but oils was really popular then. And this is the 1930s, so you wouldn't have much in the way of acrylics yet. But some of those artists did later, when you study what they were doing later in life, in the 70s or 80s, they had switched over. Thomas Hart Benton switched over to acrylics.
Did they do many watercolors back then?
There were some, yes, right. And I'm not sure if we have any watercolors in this exhibit, but it's possible. We have looked at some and considered them for the exhibit. So it's going to be interesting. There is a wide variety of art mediums that they use because there are a lot of different disciplines. Artists were coming, a lot of them from St. Louis, but they were from all over the region. People would come from even out of the state to study here because, you know, it was an art colony. It was worth it.
And the reason they came here was because of the Depression, wasn't it? They didn't want to go to.
Well, yeah, they had been traveling further. Maybe
Right,
some
to
of them
New
would
York.
go, yeah, they'd
Good
go over to
time.
New England or maybe even travel over to Europe. Traveling was expensive, you know, through the 30s, and that's when they got the idea of, these folks who started this colony, they were experienced at visiting other colonies, so they knew how colonies were managed, and they modeled theirs after one in Providence, Rhode Island, and say, well, we can do this, and they did. They did a very fine job.
There's 2 books out on the artist colony.
Right.
One was a small one that the Foundation for Restoration funded, and we still have a few of those around. And then there was a beautiful book, much larger, that was done several years ago.
A.B. Dick,
Yeah.
or not A.B. Dick, Dick and,
Dick and Kerr,
Kerr.
yes.
Yeah, right.
Right, and James Rogers did the small one they're talking about.
Right.
And, yeah, they're both very interesting books. I own both, of course, you know. I guess we all do, probably. Mine aren't signed. I was looking over somebody's shoulder the other day while we were doing research for this. Theirs was signed by the authors. Envious. Mine are not.
yeah, mine is too.
Yours is too, see? That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, well, it's depend when you bought it. They had them as guests over at
Yeah.
Southern Hotel.
I
so.
ordered mine online. That's what I get.
You should have said, I do not want it unless it's signed.
I
please."
should have.
Yeah.
Next time.
Or invite them down for the promenade and have them sign it.
Yep. While we're talking about this, I do want to thank this community for supporting all of the different art events around here. We have the local businesses will pitch in, the wineries pitch in and help us with the receptions. We have the St. Genevieve County Community Foundation supports our art events. The Missouri Arts Council supports us. So it's great that art and culture is supported by this community.
I think it's also, you guys need to be congratulated. I know come January and February, it's pretty slim. and you guys are still open for with your galleries on Fourth Friday, and that's some really dedicated staying power.
There's hardly anybody around town.
Yeah, but you still do it,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I give you a lot of credit for that.
Yeah, there was one night I saw one visitor, one visitor. It was a chilly December. But I
And
was
it's still
happy to see
nice to
him.
visit with the artists, so.
Yeah.
We like the people to come, but it's still nice to visit with the artists.
You know, Betty Garrity has an exhibit. This is a retrospective at the Merchant Street Gallery. This is a must. If you come out this Friday from 6 to 9, you've got to make sure you make it down there on Merchant Street and stop in and
Is
see
Betty
Betty
gonna
Garrity's
come?
work. I'm not sure about that.
Okay, depends how she feels probably. Betty's been around and had antique shop and painted for years and years and years, friends to everyone, happy-go-lucky person, as sweet
Yeah.
as she can be.
Didn't a couple of years ago, didn't they have the promenade was kind of
Yes,
focused
for
on,
her.
on
Uh-huh.
Betty too?
Yes, it
Yeah, it was
was.
a very nice
And
exhibit.
she went out to Mac with us for art classes,
Yeah.
more to visit, but she went and she kept painting and saying, "This is no good. We'll take it, we'll take it." Yeah, she's very, very sweet, yep.
Isn't next year the 30th anniversary of the Art Guild?
You know, I am not sure.
I
Do you
think
know,
it
Mary?
is. I think it was started
I think,
in '83, and I
And in
think
the
Betty
paper-
Garrity was one of the
One of
founding
them, and
members.
yes, that's what I was just gonna say. Betty and Jane,
And Jane Nader.
Jane, and also Margaret Forehand, which her name is not mentioned, but she was one of the
and then
originals too.
there's Wilson,
Who was that?
because they had the school down there.
There were four of them that started the art guild? I thought there was only
Washington
three
Street, she was one of them,
that started it.
that was in the earlier ones, because when I
Oh,
came here,
You mean in the art guild?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
because she had, they had that school down there, but I know Betty and Jane them,
Is
because
her daughter a blonde-headed little girl?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I know when I came in '60, then I joined the art guild, and we used to meet above
What was it? Oh, the anvil?
we met at,
The anvil?
what's the big field cafe now, we met there, and then we met at,
No, that used to be the
at
Valley
the
Band
Anvil.
room.
Yeah,
the
we had
band
met
room
up there
was-
though too.
Oh, okay.
We did, met up there a couple times, but then we met at the Anvil quite a bit.
Now, what year was that, Jim? I forgot.
I believe it was '83.
83?
Yeah,
I think it was.
yeah.
Anna,
That's what I
Anna
heard.
could tell you.
Yeah, yeah, she's a good historian,
Yeah.
Anna is. She has got so many records from the art guild. You can ask her anything, and she's got it. She's very good.
The Art Guild is very healthy right now. I think we have reached a record number of artists, members, participating painting artists, drawing, photography too. I don't want to leave photography out. And also, I think that this year, 2012, we may have reached a record of days exhibiting. And this is thanks to the kindness of the Barnwood and Bedpost that has provided us a wonderful room to exhibit in, and we have had a nonstop exhibit since March.
Right, and it's a beautiful room to do it in.
Yep.
Hate to lose it.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's going to get some good use, though. I think that
Right.
it's going to switch over to a music room, you know, for students, and that'll be nice. But that won't be probably until next year. So we will have a couple more art exhibits in there. I believe that we will still have the Art Guild Christmas show in that room. That's the plan right now. And the plein air exhibit, after all these wonderful works of art are painted out there on the street, they will be on exhibit
And maybe
also
they
in
would
that
be
room.
so kind to let us hang art in there too.
I think the one that is gonna open tomorrow is in the back end of the main room.
Yes.
Not the
In the
exhibit.
same building, but we're over in a different room now.
Right.
But the Art Guild is
Yeah,
still in the
straight
same
back as
building.
you
Right,
walk in the
straight
door.
back in.
Again, thanks to the support of the Wolks over at the Barnwood and Bedpost. So there's just so much going on. Make it to any of these, 6 to 9 this Friday. You stop in at 1. We have maps now that will guide people around to show you which places are going to have an exhibit this
And if you
month.
stop at one, you might as well buy a
You
triptych
might as well
and do
get
all
one of
6
these.
of them and
Yes.
for
And
$5.
you might just get a brownie or maybe a glass of wine.
Oh, yeah.
Wine,
Yep.
Usually
whatever.
have something.
Judy always has wonderful brownies.
Yes, she does.
And
That's what I was
lemonade.
thinking about.
And lemonade. And coffee. Her coffee's wonderful.
But we do have some very, very talented artists, and I'd love to just collect St. Genevieve scenes, but, and and they're all different kinds, but they come out really, really neat.
Right. Well, we got a variety of things going on. Remember, last year we did a portrait exhibit. We're going to do another portrait exhibit. That'll be next month. That'll be back at the Hayloft Gallery. I invite you to bring a photograph in, all right? So our theme will be portraits.
It might be my granddaughter.
Okay.
I
That'd be
wonder
great.
why.
That'd be great.
That is so cute on Facebook. She's a cutie.
What is the portrait going to be now? Is that,
It's just gonna be, it's gonna be open call, bring your portraits in. We did one of these last year too. And there were paintings, sculptures, prints, photographs, just portraits though. The theme will be portraits. Self-portraits, portraits of your family and friends, historical portraits, you know, but it's just, sometimes we do a lot of landscapes. This month, because we are doing the plein air, there will be a lot of landscapes.
maybe I taught my daughter to let me show her portraits, because I did pencil sketch
Yep.
of each one of the kids.
We'll
each one of
bring
them.
that in the Hayloft Gallery for next month's art walk.
By next month, so it'll be
We're
turned
gonna-
in at the end of the month.
Wait a minute, no, it'll be the month after that. Next month, we have something else, I can't remember what that is.
It'll be for November.
The November art walk, not the October art walk.
In
The
November.
November will be the portraits.
It'll be the end of November then?
Yes, it'll be the November art walk, so it'll be the fourth
Up
Friday.
over Christmas.
Right, so now everybody's got, that gives you 2
Over
months
Christmas
to
walk.
get your portraits ready.
That's
okay?
gonna be a busy time too. We always
Yes,
it
have,
will.
Oh,
Christmas
yes.
walk
I
is
know.
just around the corner.
And that's wonderful.
I know.
Yeah. I talked to Annette
The
this week.
parade
She's-
last year was so long. It was so nice, yeah.
And I know she's working, she said the other day, she's already got the music lined up for
Does she?
that. And so it's always a good variety of things, and like you say, the parade's a lot of fun, the kids seem to like that.
Well, the
Yeah.
last couple of years, it's been pretty big.
Oh, yes.
It's gotten, it's just, seemed like it
It is.
just grew, which is good.
Yes,
Good.
very much. Yeah, so everybody take advantage of the plein air this weekend. Starts on Friday, Thursday, Friday, and runs through the next Friday evening is the awards.
How do
And
you,
the exhibit
are
will be
there
up
various
Saturday and
contests
Sunday.
during the week, Jim, or
Oh, there are
Yes.
various contests.
you don't have to
Can you
do
find
all
it?
of them?
I'm not
either,
gonna
do
do
you?
them all, but I'll give you some of the categories. Of course, there's Best of Show, and of either oil acrylic or watercolor. But then there are purchase awards that'll be for some of these quick paints. And once, this is brand new, we're gonna have the field to finish. This will be where, and this is very interesting, this has been done in other communities, where the artist will take a painting that they did, a quick painting or sketch that they did in the field. They go back to their studio and do a larger, more finished studio version. Then you bring them both to this exhibit, hang them side by side, and we will judge, are you better out in the field or better in the studio?
And
then
that
there's
is
an award for that.
a year, over a year time you have to do that.
Right. And then the very popular People's Choice. So this would be at the exhibit, so viewers can come in, walk around, you know, and they pick what they like. We also have experts that will be picking the Best of Show. We've got Jerry Walters, professional artist and former professor of art at Mineral Area College. We have Rick Bears, professional artist, and we have Karen Glines, who is the president of the St. Louis Artists Guild. So, wonderful judges. I'm really looking forward to this.
And Sunday is the wineries, right?
I believe it's Sunday.
And
uh,
Saturday is.
I don't have the
Oh, you
schedule
don't have the
for that,
schedule,
but
and I
right,
forgot to print one out.
Right.
Anyway,
All that
it-
information is on our website. though.
Website.
And don't forget the historical celebration
Yep.
along with that. So we have 2 things going this week.
Yes.
You can even
Which-
paint a Civil War soldier or two in front of the courthouse.
Now Chloe's can do that. She's got some. I ought to tell her to bring them down here.
She can do that.
Chloe's is good at that. Yeah, she's got a lot of, that's her favorite thing to do, yeah.
Yeah, she's got more of that. I do more landscape, but this year I did do some, for Christmas, I decided I had not done pencil sketchings of head and ages. So I did my kids, that's what I gave for Christmas.
Oh, cool.
So I did each family,
That is nice.
and they enjoyed it. So I just bring some of those. I'll have to bring my Elvis Presley sketch.
Oh, definitely. Don't forget Elvis.
No, I can't forget Elvis. That one I did. I can't forget Elvis.
And Mary Ann's came back into our art guild. She took a couple of years leave.
Yeah.
So now she's back with us again, which we're grateful for that.
Julia
Always a
Lee.
good worker, past president.
Yeah. Well, I enjoyed it. I missed it.
Oh, that job's gonna be up for grabs next year.
Oh. I don't know if
Anybody out there wants to join the art guild and be president, come
Yeah.
on in.
I don't know if I'll be ready for that yet.
Yeah. Okay, are you exhibiting, Mary Ann is at Barnwood and Bedpost, which she's been there since they've opened.
Yeah.
They carry her work, hers and Al Agnew's, she's with a very noted artist.
And I do have some down at Kathy Walsh's.
Kathy Wallace's store, she has.
Store too. And I do have some hanging at the new winery on Merchant Street.
Merchant Street, and mine's going in there over Christmas, the Christmas walk, mine will be in there.
So,
And then also, I'm gonna be down at the Lake of the Ozarks at the Stone Ridge, Mall for 2 days, the 19th and 20th of, October. So anybody that's got a condo down there, come on, stop over by. Yeah. Anybody that lives down there that's hearing me, come on and stop by. Yeah, it's a charity, event, so the money, part of the money is gonna go to charity, so
It's always
it'll be
great.
really nice.
those are always good.
So, anything else we got? Oh, I know something.
Oh,
We have a raffle for Christmas that the Art Guild does every year.
oh, that's right.
You
Yes,
wanna
we
talk
do. We
about it a
just-
little bit?
We just selected a work of art last night. Now, let's see if I can remember whose that was. It was,
Becky.
yes, it was Becky Millinger's art. And it was a celebration. Celebrate was the theme. And I just saw it for the first time and only briefly last night, but it's a
Is that
bunch
just
of
a group of
characters are
kids?
celebrating. They're musicians. And
Okay.
it's a very pleasant painting.
Yeah, she does nice
Yeah,
work.
we had several to choose from too. The Art Guild members really brought them out, and we had I don't know, more than a dozen probably. And
Yeah,
and
because yours was number 0.
it took 2 or 3 votes.
I said yours was number 0.
I was number 0. We
He
took
had
2
the
or 3
coolest
votes.
painting, but it really wasn't entered into it. He
Ended
had a
up with a
spaceman.
tie.
Ooh, in a Santa
With
sleigh?
No, the line was coming down and the palette was there, and what else was in there? In your picture.
Yeah. What's it?
In your painting that we brought back to you from
Yeah,
down
it
Cape.
was.
It was
really
cool.
wasn't in the competition.
No, it wasn't
I stuck
in
it
the
up there as a
competition,
joke. It was an astronaut. Doesn't have much
Yeah.
to do with celebrating.
But it had the palette.
He was
and,
an artist. He was
yeah,
doing
he
a
was an
painting out in
artist, yeah.
space.
Yeah.
But it's a wonderful painting, and it's available for purchase.
It is, it's really cool, it's a neat painting. Okay,
But-
finish, Becky, I'm sorry.
But you are right. Becky's art, every year we select a different work of art that's part of a raffle that is used to raise funds. These funds are generally used to support our scholarship that we give one of the local students. And so this painting, pretty soon we'll have cards available for it, but the painting itself will sometimes be on display. And
We'll be selling at Country Mart
I guess, yes, Country Mart and probably at our
at the show.
yeah, at our art walks and stuff. And you get a chance to win that piece of art.
I won
Right.
Yeah.
that one year, the first year we moved back here.
And I did too, I
Yeah.
won Becky's the last time. This is the second time she was chosen.
Yeah.
She had a tree one year, and I won that one.
Oh,
Big surprise. Ooh, I never win that. And I did. Yeah, that's a great event, that, the Christmas show,
Yeah.
the Art Guild Christmas show.
yeah.
I think
Oh,
the Art
yeah.
Guild uses some of that money for scholarships.
Yes, we
Yes,
do.
for
We do.
scholarships, right.
And I think did we vote to up the ante this year?
We're wanting to raise more money this year so that we can give a larger scholarship.
Scholarship.
But the money we give, it's not a full scholarship, but it does cover the expenses. And it's really hard when a student gets in there, a lot of the scholarships that they get, it doesn't cover books and supplies. So
They got
our
money to
money
use for that.
covers the books and supplies. They can use our money for anything they
Well, I
want.
don't think it'll cover quite all the books and supplies.
Maybe for the first
It'll
year.
help toward them, yeah, it'll help toward them, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's nice to have anyway.
Yeah,
We've
had
got some really good
artists.
artists at both schools, so there might be
Yep.
a lot of competition
Really
this year.
good ones.
And you've
come
worked
out.
with some of the really
Yes,
younger
I have.
artists.
Yes,
Those
I
are
have.
fun.
I've taught kids
I helped her
for,
too once
yeah.
in a while. Those are fun.
Yeah, I've been teaching kids probably for, they're graduated now, when I started with them when they were in grade
Mine
school.
was always abstract.
She did a good job.
And I've had a lot of the kids come back and tell me that I was their inspiration, which
That's
ma-
good,
makes you
yeah.
really feel good, yeah.
It does.
Yeah. And there's probably 5 or 6 kids that are in Valley right now, and I don't know how many John has up at St. Jen. He's a wonderful, wonderful art teacher, him and Jamie both. And they have so many talented students up there too. And I think it's because of the time they take with them, and they're just very interesting teachers that make the kids interested.
Everyone's,
Wonderful.
during your career, you always find one teacher that's inspirational, and it's amazing.
Yeah.
Mine happened to be an American literature teacher in a school teaching engineers who don't like American
Oh, and it got
literature.
you hooked on
And
it,
he
huh?
was just such a marvelous, marvelous teacher, and it's a lifelong love of American literature resulted.
And that's
So-
great, yeah. Yeah, and Mr. Palmer's always been interested in theater rather than the art drawing stuff. This past year, he has kids, he had a big class. They turned out some really nice art, really nice art. So he's to be commended too, yeah. And we're going. Maybe. We didn't even tell everybody good night. Bye.
Good night.
Well, thanks for having us on.
Well, thanks for
Enjoyed it.
coming. We always
Thanks.
enjoy
guys
you
were-
guys, yeah.
Always
We
do.
enjoy all our guests.
Yep.
Yeah, You're so knowledgeable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If not, just make it up for word. No.
Well, that's all right.
You are.
That is all right. You are very knowledgeable.
But I was really surprised when I was going through and found out we had a duel in town and we had.
We had another one that almost happened. It was one of the Rozier boys, and it got called off beforehand.
One of the
It was
the
early.
store Rozier thing?
Yeah, early
Oh
on.
my
The young
gosh.
ones? The young ones?
It was, but it's always so amazing. I was so fascinated. And I go, where in the world we got these books at? One is from that Bloomsdale area up in there.
Yeah, it's just,
Is it Mine Lamont?
well, that's over, yeah, we used to have a road to Mont.
Is that where the Cajuns live at?
Well, there could be. I mean, we had a lot of friends.
Bill
who moved.
Bone, do you know Bill Bone?
No, he's old mine.